Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday for Friday, June 24, 2016. Davey and Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And why are you sighing already? What is your problem? What is your malfunction?
You know
what is your situation?
It's been a long week of feedback from the masses regarding Money in the Bank and Roman Reigns. I'm like overloaded.
It's been an eventful week in professional wrestling after an eventful pay-per-view called Money in the Bank just last Sunday from Lost Wages, Nevada. And as a matter of fact, David Hero, that there is the subject of our top story.
Lost Wages?
Money in the Bank.
Oh.
Here we go.
Imagine that. No. We said Lost Wages, then Money in the Bank, presented by Gold Bond. Just a whole bunch of just...
At the T-Mobile Arena?
Yeah.
On the Las Vegas Strip?
We've been there, right?
No, it just opened.
Weren't we there for
That
Raw?
was at the Mandalay Bay Event Center.
Oh, okay. Well, it all blends in after a while, doesn't it?
They just got an NHL team approved, I think, just yesterday for
Yeah,
what?
like that's not going to be corrupt.
What do you mean?
That's going to be so
The mob is gone from Vegas. They just blew up the Riviera last week.
The mob did?
No, the city did, because the mob, that was...
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure they're gone. You love that stuff. You should know better than anybody.
As far as I know.
They're still around.
You know, there's only one casino in Vegas that was tied to the Milwaukee mob?
Which one's that?
The Barbary Coast.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I had no idea.
I won't name names, but apparently a particular family who was based here in Milwaukee were part of the backers, along with the Detroit mob, of the Barbary Coast.
Well, if you're from Milwaukee, you pretty much can figure that out on your own.
Yeah, but I'm certainly not going to say it on TV.
I'll say it.
No, you won't. Folks, last Sunday at WWE Money in the Bank, the WWE Championship changed hands not once, but twice. And Dean Ambrose, folks, walked out of Vegas, not only Mr. Money in the Bank, but also the new WWE Champion. We're going to stop right there, David Hero, and because Dean Ambrose is the WWE Champion. Dean Ambrose is the WWE Champion. Dean Ambrose is the WWE Champion, David Hero.
Dean Ambrose has held the WWE title more times than Roddy Piper, than Dusty Rhodes, the same amount of times as Andre the Giant. You know what I mean? I mean, it's no knock on Ambrose. I mean, he's a very good talent. And talk about timing being everything. It absolutely is for him.
Yes, and we'll talk much more about that over the course of this broadcast, of course.
I don't have anything bad to say about him. I really don't. You know, it's just that I never thought I would say Dean Ambrose is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Folks, Seth Rollins initially defeated Roman Reigns for the championship to reclaim the championship he never lost. But shortly after that, the man who won the Money in the Bank match earlier
I didn't like how that
came
finish
to cash in,
to me.
and he defeated Rollins in 9 seconds.
And now obviously we know why. But Rollins beat Roman Reigns clean. You know what I mean?
He did clean. You know, here's the thing. It's a development that many did not think would happen, but it did. That being Dean Ambrose winning Money in the Bank and cashing in on that same night. But David, in watching that matchup between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, you have said this. I have not told you of my same feelings, but I watched that match and I looked at it and I said, number one, there's no way Seth Rollins can't win this match because he is entitled to that championship. He truly is. He never lost it. He has to win.
I agree.
Secondly, I just felt pitifully for Roman Reigns. I mean, I literally had remorse for him.
I did too.
And during the match, before the cash-in, before the loss, before the developments of Tuesday, I just had literal remorse for him. I just felt bad for the poor guy.
It sunk in when he lost and you saw him sitting out there on the floor.
He had a lot in his head. He was thinking about a lot at that time.
It's just like, yeah, and you know, I mean, your boy, Dean Ambrose.
My dear, close, personal friend.
Yes.
Well, not quite yet dear, close, personal, but a friend.
But you're friendly. Yeah, you guys get along. He says he loves the stuff you talk about. He likes you. What? How did that conversation go again in Dallas?
Quote, unquote, I love this guy.
I love this guy. Who knew? But, yeah, he is the new world champ. And, you know, for me, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you got to get the belt off of Reigns.
We'll talk about that tomorrow on primetime.
So I shouldn't talk about what I'm going to say now? You know what? Fine. I'll let you just run the show.
This story, in and of itself, is pretty dang on good. But there are some other considerations that we need to make when discussing this title change, these title changes on Sunday. And what is very, very interesting, David Hero, is over the course of 5 minutes, Sunday night in Las Vegas, all 3 members of the Shield were WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, if you go back to the days of the Shield, everyone said Ambrose, 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 Ambrose.
No, in the beginning it was Reigns. In the beginning it was Reigns, and then Rollins, and now it's Ambrose. Yes.
I'm talking about the fans. They never liked Reigns even when he was...
Yeah, they did.
I guess. But, okay. As far as the stars that become standout singles competitors from the Shield, it was Ambrose and Rollins, really, that the focus was on. Reigns would become champion first. Rollins would become champion as well. And now Ambrose champion, too. Over 5 minutes, all 3 were champions.
First. Rollins won it first. Because he beat Reigns in the Brock Lesnar match. Who would have thought? I just, it's just anything can happen in pro wrestling. And you know what? And here's the amazing thing.
What's the amazing thing?
Is that as much as the fans hated Reigns, and they love Ambrose and Rollins, Ambrose is the guy, they're still talking about Reigns.
Well, I mean, it's relevant, but here's my question again, or at least from that, is does Rollins still have a claim to the championship he never lost?
No.
Because he got it back.
He got it back and lost it.
How ironic, though, and this may have been touched on Monday night, how ironic is it that he won his first championship in a cash-in of the Money in the Bank briefcase, did Rollins, and now he lost same championship on a cash-in by his old friend Dean Ambrose.
Good old buddy. And which he mentioned on Raw the week before. He's like, I want to win it and cash it in. And beat
Was it another right in front of us kind of situation last Monday on Raw?
It always
Hindsight's 20/20, folks. Roman Reigns would be announced, though, as suspended by WWE 2 days later. And we're going to be speaking a lot about that aspect of the story tomorrow night on PWR Prime Time Television. But you know what, David Hero, before we get to primetime tomorrow, it's time to find out what's happening tonight on Fight TV, a big show from Ring of Honor Wrestling.
Huge.
Let's go to our correspondent, recently promoted correspondent, Cal Hero.
Coming up this weekend on Fight TV, and that is F-I-T-E, Fight. Ring of Honor presents the best in the world tonight, featuring the main event, Jay Lethal defending his world championship against Jay Briscoe, along with The Addiction versus the Motor City Machine Guns. That's live tonight on pay-per-view on the Fight TV app. Remember, you can catch Feedback Friday, Primetime TV, and Primetime TV each week on Fight TV, and you can download the app free right now on iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Welcome back, fans, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on Friday, June 24, 2016. You know, Summerfest comes to Milwaukee next week, David Hero.
It's an exciting time.
It is exciting time.
It's the world's largest music festival.
It is the world's largest music festival. Are you going to, is there a particular act you're looking forward to seeing at Summerfest?
I just like to people watch there.
Is that right? That's what I just asked you. If there's a particular act you're looking forward to seeing. The people of Summerfest?
Oh, absolutely. Which at times can be way better than the people of Walmart. Well, they're drunk.
Let's get to this week's comments that you all provided to us on our broadcasts of last week. And first one comes from Ryan Davis, who talks about what we were just talking about, Ambrose being champion, because we talked about the potential of him being so last week on our shows. And he said, and I quote, "I don't see Ambrose as championship material, but whatever. I didn't see the instant cash-in coming. Lots of bandwagon jumping going on in the WWE universe right now," is what he had to say about that.
You know what? My whole thing with Ambrose as the champ is he didn't really have any steam building up to this. Yes, he had his program with
Chris Jericho,
and he won the Lethal Lockdown match, and that's great and all.
Was it Ambrose Asylum match?
But we know what it really was. But if you think about it, beforehand in January and February, he's getting beat down by Triple H. Gets his butt handed to him March and April by Brock Lesnar. And then he gets over on Jericho once, and now he's the world champ. A guy that, it's...
But doesn't that unlikeliness make it more of a story and more substantial that he did indeed win, cash in, and become champion?
But usually when guys become champions, they have steam. They have something building up behind them, And he doesn't have that right now.
When you look back at previous Money in the Bank cash-ins, was the same situation? Was it the case, the same, as people had that steam or something building behind them?
Well, Rollins lost to Randy Orton when he cashed in that night at WrestleMania. With the RK out of nowhere. I honestly thought The Miz was going to be the first guy to cash in and lose.
And he wasn't. He was cashed in on Raw and became WWE champion after I endorsed him. And saw that one coming.
Amazing. It's still to this day, it's one of the most frustrating things I've ever witnessed. Because I knew how much it meant to you, and it drove me that crazy,
Folks, regarding our conversation about AJ Styles last week, David Hero, you were referencing how great his run has been in WWE. Jason Smith had the following to say, and I quote, referencing AJ Styles, and I quote, "You debuted at the Royal Rumble and did nothing. You were gifted 2 WWE World Heavyweight Championship matches and lost them both. David, please tell me, where in the hell do you hear that AJ is still in the same level as The Rock or WrestleMania main event talent?"
Where did that quote come from?
I'll wait. You did compare him to, you said that John Cena compared him to The Rock.
He did. On the last few Monday Night Raws, leading up to their big match, to make him a bigger star, like he belongs in the ring with him. But the stuff you just read, where did that come from?
That came from YouTube.
It was in quotes.
Yes.
But who said it?
It was a user by the name escapes me because it's no longer on the screen.
So that guy
is
saying what his stuff is real. What his quotes are real, that someone said that.
Yes. No, that's in quotes. Yes, the quotes within the quotes, yes. You debuted at the Royal Rumble, did nothing. You were gifted 2 WWE World Heavyweight Championship matches and lost them both.
Who said that?
That's what he said.
Well, it doesn't matter. Because it's not from John Cena or from anybody in WWE.
He's challenging the notion that AJ Styles is WWE Championship material.
Cool. Let's see.
And that he is on the same level as The Rock.
Does a great job. Was eliminated by Kevin Steen, which was a way to protect him. Okay. He then goes into a program with Jericho. Yes, he did lose to Jericho, but everyone that comes in from the outside loses to the main WWE guy. It's a way of testing them. Okay, hold on. Then has 2 great matches with Roman Reigns, which shows he is on the same level as the world champion. Goes into a program with John Cena, beats John Cena, even though there was shenanigans involved. Then the following night, he is the guest on Steve Austin's podcast. They have done nothing but surround him with A+ talents, showing that he belongs.
It's the company you keep, right?
Oh, come on. He got the rub from the world champ. He got the rub from Jericho. He got the rub from Cena. And now he gets the rub from Steve Austin, who put him over like $1 million in the entire interview. Come on, dude.
Let me ask you this. The match between between John Cena and AJ Styles at Money in the Bank this past Sunday.
It was weird to watch for me because it just seemed like everything Cena did, AJ always one-upped him on. And I've never seen Cena look that bad. Everyone says, well, the Brock Lesnar, but that's completely different.
When Cena just got his tail handed to him that
but that's
night,
by the former UFC
exactly.
world champion.
Yes.
It's not by a guy that's about 40 pounds lighter than him. Okay? It's a big difference. But Cena gave AJ Styles everything.
The match overall, how would you rank it?
It's weird because, for me, I thought it was kabuki-ish. It was different. But, Austin and Jim Ross loved it, And maybe I got to watch it again to see why they loved it, But for me, it just seemed like, it was a great way to showcase AJ Styles because he did some things that we haven't seen in a while out of him.
It was in my opinion, it was a very slow-paced match. Too slow at the beginning. And just when it started getting great, the Anderson and Gallows came out, interfered, and then the match was over. So it left me wanting more. I guess that's a good thing, and we'll obviously see a rematch between the two. But I don't think it was as spectacular as everybody is saying it was. But again, I think I tweeted this during the event. WWE did a great job of convincing us that we've waited 15 years for this matchup, and we haven't. because no one really, can't name one person who mentioned a John Cena, AJ Styles dream match at any point when they were in separate companies.
Right.
Never heard it.
I agree.
But again, credit to WWE. They made us think that it was and made it that much more of a matchup. And again, to the point of how he's been surrounded by greatness, that is part of the AJ Styles push, if you will. But the match wasn't all that great, in my opinion.
Everyone thinking AJ is going to get buried is crazy because we are now almost 7 months into the year since he debuted.
Yep.
He's been a prominent player. He's going to go through SummerSlam a prominent player.
Absolutely.
And, it all depends on where he lands in the draft. He's going to be one of the main guys on that brand.
Yep.
I don't know.
Natalya Neidhart showed her true colors this past Sunday.
Pink and black, huh?
It was an attack on Becky Lynch, her partner.
I'll be honest. You know what?
Uh-oh.
The whole Diva Revolution thing, whatever they wanted to call it a year ago, it has just been so uneventful now.
Well, here's the thing, though. Remember, Sasha Banks came back on Monday and wrestled on SmackDown she's back in the ring this past Thursday night. I think that they are creating a couple of distinct storylines in the Divas division, the women's division, so that when the brand split occurs, those storylines can go to whichever shows.
You've only seen 4 of the girls.
Correct. Yeah.
You still got another 8 or 9 of them.
5, include Sasha.
Well, right, but
Paige when she's not busy.
Not busy in Vegas.
I will say this: I've had an encounter with Metro in Vegas before. Never been in handcuffs, never been arrested.
Please tell me. How have I not seen this or heard?
I said I was never in handcuffs. I was not arrested.
So you weren't driving?
I was not driving. I was walking across the street, and in my mind, a taxi had attempted to run me over. It had not moved, and I had a beverage in my hand, and I had good aim that night because when I tossed it, it went into the driver's side window.
Whoops.
And I was stopped.
You're that guy.
No, I thought he tried to run me over. It never moved.
You were with Jameson.
I was with Jameson, yes. About 2 blocks later, Metro stops me and asks me about the incident. And I said to them initially, well, that was like 2 blocks ago. Why is it an issue? So, yes, they're out there. They patrol. She was an innocent bystander, it appears, in a situation that was happening, and she got lumped into the mix.
I think it's amazing that they found a bald black guy on the strip in Vegas.
It's not uncommon for a bald black person to be
but
on the strip
I'm sure there's a lot of them, and they found you.
Were they looking for me?
Well, obviously they found you.
Why would they have been looking for me?
Because you assaulted somebody with a beverage.
That doesn't mean that has nothing to do with me being a bald black guy.
You just ruined your entire political career right now.
How so?
You just came clean.
I didn't ruin
being
anything.
A felon. If
the fraud on the one side of the ticket can say the things that he says, then I'm sure I'm fine
what
with having
Bernie
done.
said?
Let me tell you this. This is, I don't know what, we've got to stay on track, okay?
I have been.
You have
I'm
not.
following your story.
Derailed this bus. We were talking about Paige, who apparently was detained briefly in Vegas after the pay-per-view on Sunday by the police due to a misunderstanding. But the tag team matchup, David Hero, was a 4-way tag team matchup. You thought the club would win. They did not. However, it was still, I thought, a great match. However, I got some responses from some peeps on Twitter saying it was full of botches and blah, 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 blah. And I'd like you to make the point again that you made many a time about what happens in a real fight.
Yeah, here's the beauty of it. Everyone says pro wrestling's not ballet, which it isn't. And obviously some of these people that watch have never been in a real fight. They've never been in a boxing match, never been in a wrestling match.
Really?
They've never anything physical.
In a ring at all?
Yeah, except whatever they do in the basement is completely different. But when you get into a fight, sometimes you miss a punch, sometimes you miss a kick, sometimes you trip and fall. That is the authenticity of being in a sparring fight.
Here's what I thought was great about that tag team matchup. Every participant in the matchup wanted to win, and they were fighting to win.
Yes.
It was believable. They wanted it. The prize was the championship. They wanted it, and whether they botched or not, I thought it was a great physical expedition.
You know what's really starting to happen?
What's that?
All these wrestling fans, because they watch it from their couch or their recliner, or they're sitting, crisscross applesauce style on the floor while
one of them is dead.
Whatever. They can critique all they want, but they've never done it. They don't know what it's like to be in the ring in front of 15, 20,000 people.
Well, I'd like to think that's part of the reason that we are here, is to help educate the masses.
I try. You see what happens to me on social media.
Actually, I don't. I try not, especially on Monday nights during your Monday Night Wars. I try not to pay any attention.
Monday night I didn't do anything? Not one. I'm like, forget it. because it was.
You given up already? It lasted 2 weeks?
No, I only have so much mental capacity. I really do. You know? I know I got to deal with the ex-wife again. It's just like, where do I want to put this energy?
The Money in the Bank ladder match, as we continue to talk about Money in the Bank, wasn't spectacular, but definitely wasn't bad.
Well, there were no crazy spots.
Exactly, but it was still, again, 6 men fighting for a prize. And here's what's challenging about that matchup is the whole going up to the top of the ladder and almost grabbing it, touching it. It's just not believable at times.
No.
Because all you have to do is take one more step and you're close enough to pull it down. But the match itself, I thought Ambrose winning was a nice touch. I really think that Owens or Sami Zayn could have won it as well. But
okay, Sami Zayn winning it would have been like when Daniel Bryan won it. Remember that when we did that? We did
he was a Money in the Bank winner?
yes,
Daniel Bryan?
And then he beat, I think it was Big Show. He cashed in on Big Show.
I don't recall.
Daniel Bryan was in a Money in the Bank, and we did it be the booker, and we even put him on the list of guys we thought. I mean, even when we booked the match, I'm like, I'm not putting him on. I'm going to book him in the match, and he won it. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's what it would have been like if Sami Zayn would have.
So it would have been a good thing.
Well, sure, if Sami Zayn's got the same magic as Daniel Bryan.
He does. He's endorsed. He's the only endorsed competitor in that matchup.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, Jericho, isn't he endorsed?
I never endorsed Jericho. I have never endorsed Jericho.
No?
I have not.
Huh. I thought you put your stamp on him.
Folks, coming up, we've got more of your comments here right now. Rainman11 said regarding the conversation we had last weekend about Brock Lesnar, and I quote, "Even if Brock Lesnar loses at UFC 200, I don't see how people will only refer to him as a fake fighter. It's not like CM Punk, where he's never fought an MMA fight before. Brock is a former UFC heavyweight champion."
You know what's painful? Is having to explain myself over and over again.
Well, perhaps you should articulate better, and maybe it requires.
No, you know what? I almost have a teaching degree. I'm like 64 credits short, okay? But I know that I could do that. What is so funny?
You almost have a teaching
I'm
degree.
like 64, 74 credits away.
I'm sure you are. Yes.
And it's
Which
like,
is the whole. Yeah.
it's just like, come on. It's like, seriously.
Did you go to Trump University for that teaching degree?
I haven't finished. I started.
Yes.
There's been a few issues with the enrollment process.
Yes.
But it's just like, people don't understand the damage it does to his brand. If he loses, if he gets knocked out, or he taps out, now the aura of this monster killer has been just completely been wasted and ruined.
In the UFC. Losing in WWE doesn't do the same thing you're saying.
No.
Just this UFC matchup does that.
He loses in UFC to this guy, it kills his brand in UFC and WWE. Because now he is no longer that badass. He just got knocked out.
But the point you made as well, though, was that he lost his last 2 fights in UFC.
Right.
So.
And took about a year off.
Time off, yes.
People forget.
Is it weird to you that the machine has not mentioned the fact that Brock Lesnar is participating in UFC 200 on their programming?
Not yet. It's way too soon. The
event's July 19th? 21st?
Yeah, but they had their own stuff to promote first.
They got a lot going on. And we're going to talk about that lot going on tomorrow on Primetime. But thank you for those comments, folks. And got a stacked show tomorrow night on Primetime, David Hero.